division between what is foreign and what is domestic. The world economy, the world environment, the world AIDS crisis, the world arms race, they affect us all. Today, as an old order passes, the new world is more free.
Hey everyone, welcome to Outside the Box News and Views, not your everyday kind of news program. I'm Jessica Taylor. Tonight on the show we have Mr. Hagan Smith. He is the Pennsylvania Constitution Party chairman, and we'll be profiling the Constitution Party and just shedding a little more light on, the largest third party in the nation, so you can probably, hopefully make some more informed choice at the voting booth. We at Outside the Box extend our warmest welcome to Mr. Hagan Smith, the pit bull of the Constitution Party. Thank you so much. It's so good to have you. Okay, so just real quick, we want to do a brief history of the Constitution Party. Now, I understand it used to be called the U.S. Taxpayers Party.
That's correct. The U.S. Taxpayers Party was created in 1992, was actually the beginning, what eventually evolved into the Constitution Party. And I am the Constitution Party chairman of Pennsylvania, and the Constitution Party has principles that we believe in, such as the 28 Principles of Liberty embodied in the Constitution. And the party is the fastest growing party in the nation. And
must be exciting.
Well, it's because of the rights of the people that makes it happen that way.
Right.
It's why we eventually became to be known as the Constitution Party.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So let's start with the issues. An issue very near to many of our hearts is the war in Iraq. Many of us have sons, daughters, husbands, wives, brothers over there. Immediate withdrawal, timetable for withdrawal, or should we stay until they get their stuff together?
Well, I believe that we cannot immediately withdraw, although I do believe that, according to our platform in the Constitution Party, that we should not enter into the entangling alliances with other nations. Mm-hmm. We should not do party building, as our president promised in the first election that he would not do. He would not do party building. However, he has done nation building, and he should not be doing these things. America is free, it's sovereign, and this nation requires that we do not intermeddle with other nations' business. It's up to the people to build their freedom and their constitutions and so forth that protect that freedom. But it's also, just as here in America, it's our duty to enforce our Constitution on our government that we remain free. And if we don't enforce the Constitution, we will lose our freedom. Right. I would bring the soldiers home as soon as possible. I would begin to de-escalate this war and to wind it down. And I believe that our soldiers should not be put in harm's way for nation building of other nations, and I believe that's exactly what this is, and the Constitution Party's against it.
Great, great. So the Constitution Party has been called ultra-conservative. Do you agree with this statement, and you know, what do you think about that?
No, I do not. I don't believe in divisive terms. I don't believe in calling someone a conservative or a liberal. I don't believe in calling someone a Democrat or Republican or a Protestant and a Catholic. Even though these terms fit the agenda, they are divisive terms. Right. Every person is a creation of God. That person has the God-given rights protected through and by our Constitution, by the way. And we should never use divisive terms to divide people, because government is very crafty at doing this kind of thing to divide and conquer us, to take away our freedom. We should always remember that each one of us is an individual or a creation of God, that we see them with the same respect that we see ourselves. Right. And we should always respect people from that standpoint.
Well, that's good to hear. You get so sick of the conservative liberal,
yes,
you know, fighting back.
Yes.
Kind of stupid. Now, I wanted to talk about this because I was reading, the Constitution Party's constitution, and it calls for a lot of abolishing of government, regulatory agencies that Americans have grown so used to,
yes,
dealing with, and like the IRS, the Department of Energy, the Department of Education. Let's talk about the belief system that was based on, and what could possibly come about from abolishing these.
Well, these government regulations, when you allow government to regulate everything and anything in this country that's unnecessary, and most of these things are, you allow government to produce the opposite effect of the desired intent. It's exactly what they do. The IRS, for example, the IRS is an agency created for stealing actually, your labor from you. When you work for someone...
You're referring to the income tax?
Yes. When you work for an employer, you make a contract with your employer that you will give him some labor and he'll give you some money.
Right.
That's a barter, that's a trade. It is not a profit or a gain, which the IRS code hinges on as profits and gains. It does not hinge on labor. Your labor is your property, just the same as your life is your property. And when you sell your labor to your employer, it is not taxable under the Constitution, and Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution clearly forbids it.
So income, legal definition would be just profits and gains, not wages from working, or? Income would only be profits and gains. If someone comes up and gives you $1 million, for example, okay, that $1 million you didn't work for, you didn't trade labor for, so it's income. Okay. It's derived from a source other than your own property or such as your labor. Okay. So that is taxable. If someone gives you a farm and you didn't work to build that farm or so forth, that farm becomes also taxable because you profit from that farm and it is a gain in your wealth. So it would be taxable under the IRS code. Although I still believe that the IRS code is an unlawful agency and should be, I believe that the IRS should be abolished. I believe that the Federal Reserve should be abolished. It destroyed our gold and silver currency and brought in a fiat currency that is based strictly on debt, right, credit, your labor. Right. When you sign your name, it authorizes spending. It authorizes printing the money that gets paid out into circulation, and it's based on your signature and your credit. And it should not be. It was unauthorized for Congress. They never had the power to do this, to create the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, and should not have created it. So just for our viewers, the Federal Reserve is a private group of banks, of bankers that prints our money for us, that is responsible for backing our money. The U.S. Mint may do the work, but it's all being backed by